welcome to Business Growth School for Service Providers podcast. I'm your host Ali Salman, and this podcast is brought to you by Rapid Boost Marketing, online marketing for service providers. Are you a dentist, realtor, lawyer, accountant? Do you provide services locally? Then this podcast is for you. Here we share strategies, tricks, and techniques on how to generate more leads and sales using online marketing. Join us every day for 5 minutes and take away strategies which you can apply in your business.
For late morning workout, I couldn't get into a workout earlier in the morning, so just came in a little bit later. Wanted to talk about barrier to entry. A few years ago, if you want to get in front of let's say 5,000 people, 10,000 people, you had few options. You had radio, you had print, you had direct mail, you had TV, which was super expensive. I mean, there was no way that a small business or a mid-sized business too, even just a large brand used to be able to access to those massive audience. But now what has happened that because of the screen, I mean, you damn record a cool video, you create a good content, you can be in front of thousands of people for free. Now tell me, where else in the whole history, right? Tell me in the whole history of modern history, where has businesses, small to mid-sized businesses, have an opportunity like this, that they can literally create a content and they can get in front of 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 or million people without paying a dime to anyone. So barrier to entry have been reduced. Now it's up to you to produce consistent content. Use that phone effectively. Don't consume content, produce content. Consumers don't make money, producers and makers do. Let me ask you this question, right? 15 years ago, if you wanted to watch something, if you felt like watching a TV series, consuming some sort of a content, how many choices you had? I mean, you probably had TV, you probably had your DVD rack, but that's it, right? Okay. Nowadays, right, imagine how many choices you have. You have your social media, you have YouTube, one of the biggest one, Netflix out there, right? And I don't know, any longer, or at least I don't watch TV any longer. People do, but before, if that ratio was let's say 75-80%, now there's so many other channels. What that has done, it has opened up opportunity for businesses to create amazing content, right? If you create really good content, think about Red Bull, right? They create amazing content, right? And people end up consuming their content, right? They don't have to run a TV commercial, but they can create a cool video and distribute it through through their fan base on Facebook, on Twitter, on whatever platform they are following them, right? So getting smartphones, getting internet, right? It has democratize the content creation. No longer you have to be this beautiful looking TV anchor or RJ radio jockey. Now you can also create content, right? All you need is a damn phone. So the barrier to first of all to advertise has came down, right? Okay, as we said before, it was just, we were talking about early in the morning, it was just radio and billboards, right? Because so now you can advertise anywhere, and you can also advertise for $5 or $10 too, right? So the budget has came down. The second thing is that content creation, right? Before, you as a business, you want to create something, who will watch it, how you will get to that audience. But now, right, you have Facebook, you have Twitter, you have your website. The biggest thing, you have search engines, right? If you are creating something good, people will find you, right? So the idea is that create content. Before, it was much more harder to break into this. That's why hence bigger companies were doing it. Now, you being a mid-sized brand or a small company, you can also create amazing content, and you can actually get much more reach and engagement than Coca-Colas and Red Bulls of the world, because people love what you're doing, right? And we have a lot of countless examples of local businesses, mid-sized companies and brands have been able to generate impressive content, right? And they have able to leverage this new digital media, right? You don't have to be on the TV, guys. You don't have to be on the radio, because there's so many other avenues now where you can reach out to your customers, right? So on Facebook, someone reached out to me and said what kind of equipment do they need to produce content? We have been talking about producing content all day, and my idea was that see, 5, 10, 15, 20 years ago, right, phone qualities were not good. First of all, right, okay, you needed the fancy equipment, you needed a nice Canon camera, something, right, like really, really nice. You have to invest in it to create good visual content, right? Okay. Nowadays, creating good visual content is super cheap. I mean, look on Amazon, on so many websites out there, there's complete kits from lights to mic recording to selfie sticks to stands, and they're very cheap. They're not you can dress up a studio anything from $200 to $300 all the way to $1,500, right? Okay, or more fancier one is basically a couple of thousand, upwards of $5,000, right? Okay, as much fancy equipment you can add. So let me show you that what can $1,500 to $2,000 can basically get you. Right, this is a whiteboard, right? In the behind you basically see a screen, and this screen is basically you can get it in different kind of designs. It's pretty cool designs out there, and you can literally put it up with pins. Then there's basically stands like that which can help you adjust, right? This is a whole accessories kit. You can see we have the white light for in front of camera, videos and photos. This is also light. We have another one right here. Okay, there's a green screen right there. There's an additional replacement light right there. There's a bunch of handles for basically hooking things up. And also, if you see on the corner of the room, there's basically lights are running to create really white and nice light effect, right? Other thing which I carry with me if I'm traveling anywhere, it's basically this thing, right? If you have seen it, probably be different shapes and sizes of it. One good thing about that is basically a clip, right? You can literally clip it anywhere and it becomes your walking, talking a camera stand, right? Sum it up, guys, what I was trying to make a point that before 15-20 years ago, to create a good quality visual content, right, it was much more expensive. It was much more harder to edit it out. Now with the help of smartphones, right, and basically super cheap accessories which I showed it to you, right, you can literally create a pro level, right, good quality studio to create content for your business, to help you pump out consistent content, to help you build the momentum, as been talking about it all day long. Just finishing up the day at the office here right now, but I wanted to talk about the ideas for content creation, because I know so many of you struggle with that, right? You have no idea on what things to talk about, what kind of content you should be creating. So let's talk about some practical tips, right? Go to YouTube, guys. Number one thing, YouTube is probably the second or third biggest search engine out there, the biggest video search engine out there, which will help you understand that what kind of content your people in your industry are watching, what kind of content your competitors and people in your industry are creating, to give you a lot of inspiration and a lot of ideas. Second thing is go and look at social media hashtags, right? Go on Instagram, go on Twitter, go on Facebook, right? In Facebook graph search, the Facebook search on the top, it's called graph search, is really powerful, and it can help you find what people are talking about, what are their questions, right? And let me tell you that 96% of the people, they're not ready to buy today. 96% of your potential customers, they're not ready to do business with you today. They need more information, they have more questions. You don't just get up one day and say, hey, you know what, I would love to buy a real estate, or I love to buy Ford 150. It doesn't happen that way. You do your research. So how can you address the people, those 96%, that silent majority who haven't decided what they want? They're still seeking information. and they should be your prime target when you are thinking about content creation, because if you get the customer in the awareness stage, it's much more cheaper because you're not fighting for them through Google PPC and through aggressive targeting at the bottom of the funnel. Because when you are at the bottom of the funnel, it gets much more competitive, and people are going very your competitors, everyone is focused on the bottom of the funnel. But if you create content, if you create good content, if you create consistent content, you can talk to that 96% out there where your competitors are focused on the 4% buy, right? Okay, so think about that, right? And other ideas around content creation, right? Like go to Google search, related searches. When you're searching on Google, it shows you a bunch of related searches. Also, when you're searching, and on the first page of the results, you go to the bottom, there's a lot of other suggested searches, right, of what other people also looked at. There's another website called SlideShare. It's the biggest, right, PowerPoint and a slide deck website in the world. So if you are in real estate, find out what people are talking about in real estate. If you are in plumbing, or if you're in HVAC, find out that what people in your industry or what other businesses are talking about, right? Okay. So there's all these ideas out there. Your competitors, your industry publication. If you're in a legal industry, there's so many magazines out there, there's so many blogs out there. Find out what they are talking about, right? Okay. And in the last, I'll basically tell you a couple of tools to you. One is BuzzSumo. On BuzzSumo, you can find out the most popular topics, most shared topics in any keyword, any industry, to check out what people in your industry are sharing the most and liking the most. Second tool I'm going to mention is called Ubersuggest. You can Google both of them, and I'm sure you're going to find the website. Ubersuggest will help you understand what people are searching on Google and Bing around any topic, right? Around any country. It can give you local results, it can give you national results. So go and check that out. I'll catch you in the next episode. Have a good day, guys.
Thank you so much for joining me today. If you want to listen to previous episodes, go to rapidboostmarketing.com/grow. Again, I'll repeat that, rapidboostmarketing.com/grow. I'll catch you tomorrow bright and early with another business growth lesson. Have a good day. Take care. Bye-bye.